Welcome back to the Navy Sports Magazine. Time to shine the light on Navy women's swimming and diving with the local product, Hannah Montau. Always good to talk to the former Screaming Eagle from Seneca Valley. And, Hannah, as you look back during the course of your career right now, and you think about when you were out there for the Montgomery Dive Club, and now you're a Division I diver and you've accomplished so many things along your path here at Navy, what's that journey been like?
It's definitely been something to remember. I mean, this career that I've had for the past 4 years here at Navy, it's way better than I could have ever thought of it would even end like this.
When you get into this as a kid, everybody gets into something, and swimming obviously is a very popular thing over where you're from in Montgomery County. But when did it go from just being like a cool activity and something to do to being ultra competitive for you?
So I started diving when I was 10, and pretty much from there, I would always go to the pool on the weekends with my father, and I would just practice, practice, practice. And then once I turned 12, that's when I started to become on the team, practice every single day. And even after that, I would still go on the weekends on my own, just still practice, just because I really love the sport so much.
Yeah, I mean, I've got kids. I've got a pool in my backyard. I know when we go from, hey, it's cool, I did a flip and, stuff like that. But when did you start choreographing dives and start to use that creativity?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you just start diving, you just get all these dives, and pretty much like as soon as you start competing, like that is your list. And so each age group, when you're in club, you have to do like a certain amount of dives. And so you have to hit a certain amount of category per dive. And so the five categories that you have to do, those are your automatic, and then you have three extra dives, and so those are like your more harder dives. And so the three like more harder dives were the ones that I practiced the most. And then once you got older, then you got to do all five of the harder category dives. And then you got to college and you only did the harder dives, which they are called the optional dives. And so here in college you do six, so you have to double up on a category.
When you start to think and started to figure out, hey, I'm good at these types of things, but at the same time, to score high, you want to push the envelope a little bit. Who's been instrumental in helping you do that? Certainly here at the college level, because you don't accomplish the things you have without pushing that envelope a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely my teammates here at the academy, all of them from when I was a plebe to even now as a senior. So they've definitely been a very great part of my success here at the academy.
Why is the culture in that pool, and I'm talking about everybody, swimmers, divers, what is it about that camaraderie and that room that allows you all to achieve success at the level you all have as a program?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely Army Navy is a big one. Patriots is a big one. So just focusing on those two mates specifically helps all of us come together and just try to be the best that we can when it comes down to competing at those meets.
I was going to say there's a lot of people in that room during the week. There's a lot of people on that roster. There's opportunity for competitive jealousy to creep in, but you all have done such an amazing job of creating a culture where that's a rarity. What's been the key to that? What is it about your teammates that allows that culture to develop and prosper? Which, let's face it, the Naval Academy is a different place. It's not like civilian schools where the schedule's a little more lax. You can do things kind of at your own pace. It's not quite that way at the academy.
Yeah, so I mean, even if you don't get to compete at Patriots, we have another meet that the other divers can go to, and same with the swimmers. And so, I mean, it all comes down to being the best, and like we want the best people to go to Patriots so that we can get a conference championship. And so we all really don't fight over it because we know that in the end, it's what is best for the team.
What makes a person want to dive off of a completely great flat surface? It's safe, and you can just kind of stand there with your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. But But what is it about those platforms that inspire the type of greatness that you, others that have come before you, and certainly those in the future, as you leave a nice legacy here, we'll try and do the same.
Yeah, I mean, platform is definitely its own little beast. I think, I mean, it's definitely way different than the springboard, but it's also kind of similar in terms of the dives, but you just don't have to do a hurdle, which is like the approach going down the board. So it makes platform a little bit more easier because you're not worried about sort of like not running down on the platform, because you do run down the platform, but you don't have to sort of like walk down, or you don't have to like lose your balance. And so I think that's why platform for me was really good in that sense, but it's also just something different. And with me, I grew up having two sets of platforms very close to each other at home. And so I did train platform a lot because I knew not many people were able to train platform. And so I knew that was definitely a good chance for me to like sneak into some meets and like places and like whatnot.
Was there anybody that inspired you either during your youth diving career or even here at the Naval Academy that, said, hey, I want to be like that, and maybe even, exceed what that person has accomplished?
Yeah, I mean, definitely all the like really high competitive divers that, I've seen on TV, just even going to NCAA's, I've seen them for the past 3 years. I'll see them one more time. So just all those divers that have just done really good things have definitely inspired me to want to become like them and just be better.
If ever presented with the opportunity, would you do something like the Acapulco cliff divers we used to see on TV? Would you try something like that that's maybe even a little bit out of the box?
So I definitely have wanted to try cliff diving, but I don't think I could do like multiple flips, maybe like one flip, or even just I just want to like just jump off of like a 26-meter cliff. It's like how they do it like in Red Bull cliff diving.
I was going to say, I watched some of those Red Bull diving competitions where people are doing just that, man. That is gutsy,
Hmm.
to say the least, without question. To have the type of success, how have you been able to, maintain that even keel necessary where the success hasn't necessarily spoiled you as a competitor, and you keep that inner drive that you need, because especially even in your own room, there's always somebody behind you trying to exceed what you've been able to accomplish?
Yeah, for sure. So I think, I mean, mainly, I mean, diving is more of like a pressure sport. Like you are put on the spot to do this dive and it's on you to do it good. And so every time I go up to do a dive, I always just remind myself like I've done so much in my career that like, if something happens right now, like it is okay. And in the end, I know for me that diving is not the ultimate goal. It's to serve afterwards. And so for me to get my dream service selection, that's really all I could ever imagine right now. And so I just get up there. I'm like, I've done everything I could right now. It is going to be okay.
I was going to
So
say,
I try not to let that pressure get to me as much. And I think because of that, I don't feel like I don't get that rush. And so I'm very calm in the end when I'm doing my dive, which has definitely helped me this year.
I was going to say, you led me right into my next question for you. Now that you're coming toward the end of this path, what are you most looking forward to here upon graduation coming up here in just a couple of months?
Yeah, definitely. Well, especially going to flight school, I'm really excited that because I never thought I was gonna ever be able to do that. So just going down to Florida, having a blast, learning how to fly. I'm super excited for that.
I was going to say, shocker, somebody wants to fly off diving boards, is willing to go fly in an airplane. If there is, you got one last competition and you have to pick a money dive to score for you, what is that money dive?
Yes, say that would either be, so I have two, either my front 2.5 full twist off 10-meter or front 3.5 off 10-meter.
I can't even comprehend what you would do with your body and contort in midair to do that. Has that been the fun part though? Is choreographing, what you're going to do, so it doesn't necessarily kind of get stale and get plain for you during competition as well?
Yeah, I mean, I would say so. It's definitely different in terms of like how we pick our dives, but like, because you could either do it in a tuck position or a pike position. And so with that, you sort of just like play around with the dive. And then in the end, you're like, okay, I'm going to do it in this position because I know I'm going to be able to do it better than in that position because I've been doing this longer and like whatnot.
And it's been awesome to talk to you a couple of times along the journey here. We appreciate your time so much, and obviously continued success. Best of luck with flight school, and appreciate not only you coming to the Naval Academy to be a diver, but obviously your future service to our country. Appreciate the time today.
Thank you so much for your time again.